Barbara is my brother's daughter, my youngest brother's daughter. My brother Mike, he was like 3 years younger than me, kind of a wild child. Just didn't have a lot of good luck sometimes, you know. Had some really bad luck, got really sick, and passed away.
Barbara was once my niece, and she is now my adopted daughter. We adopted Barbara when she was, I want to say 13 or 14, but she came to live with us when she was about 11 or 12.
Coming home from school one day and all of our stuff was outside, so we had been evicted. And my pastor came, his car pulled up, and he picked me up, and I went to live with him. His family was amazing, and they did not have to do what they did. After that, being dropped off back at ChildNet, and then just having to figure out, these people had to figure out what they're going to do with me now.
I had tried for probably 2.5 to 3 years to get Barbara, but because she was in the system, we had to put up with a lot of paperwork and interviews and classes and that kind of thing.
My Aunt Jean came to pick me up. She actually traveled all the way to Fort Lauderdale to come get me. At the time, I had only met her maybe once or twice in my life.
Throughout Barbara's life, she had been in 7 different foster environments. What the social worker told us was that they kind of give up on people once they've been in those that many different environments. But Barbara ended up kind of being the poster child, according to our social worker, for foster care because she was doing so well and improving and growing.
My childhood actually came kind of late. I feel like I didn't really act like a child until I was able to. In like a year, I had my childhood, and that was it. It was like my real childhood, you know.
When life was good, she was moving along. But then when her life wasn't good, I think she got stuck. She might have got stuck at a time when she was 4 or 5 or 6 when kids typically would play with dolls, and she needed to go through those things. Barbara was a bit of a wild child. She didn't have a lot of manners, she didn't have a lot of boundaries. She was a loving child, and she was certainly someone that could adapt to different environments fairly easily.
It was kind of a clash right from the beginning, and you don't expect that. Because I can use the same discipline on her that I used on my kids, and it just doesn't work out that way.
I think it took me a long time to be like, I just want to stay here. I was scared for a bit, not knowing oh my God, this is really good. What do I do? Should I stay here, or should I go back and just be in another foster home?
She's probably the most forgiving person I've ever seen, because when she got here, we had to be pretty tough on her. In fact, I felt sometimes that we were too tough, or I thought, she's never going to forgive us. Not even a day later, within hours, she's already forgiven you, and you're back to normal.
It took a long time. It didn't happen overnight. And it took a lot of sitting down and talking and saying, you can't do this because, and sometimes she would pick up on it and learn just from conversation, and other times she had to experience things on her own.
Jean and Tom, when I moved here, they were just a temporary foster parent, but they were everything that a foster kid should have. They helped me change. A lot of kids don't have that. Help the kid actually in a real life situation.
A lot of times I feel like I have my brother with me, which is kind of cool, because I see stuff in her that is exactly like him. So it's kind of like, it's like getting a do-over with your brother.
Today, Barbara is an incredible young woman. She's only 19, but she lives on her own, and she's paying her bills, and she's going to school, and she's working hard at a job in a nursing home taking care of the elderly. She's incredible. She's loving and forgiving and kind, and she's just such a blessing in our life at this point in time.
She's just a different person. She's very mature. I think she's 19 years old, and I think in a lot of ways she's much more mature than 19. I'd like to see her finish college and just be a person that can support herself and be successful. And she's showing us that. I mean, she's doing that already.
So I think what I would tell a foster child that's in foster care now is that it gets better. It really does. I know everyone's different with coping and the way that they process things and stuff, but I think that no matter what, like God has a plan. There's a plan no matter how many obstacles you have, no matter how many things are happening and you don't feel like there's a plan. It's coming, the time's coming, and once you're out of there and you've aged out of foster care, you can do better for yourself and you can figure things out.
It was worth every gray hair on my head, every moment I thought, what the heck did I do? She was absolutely worth everything we did, And I highly recommend that if you have an opportunity to help another child in a similar or even in a totally different situation, that you do it. Those kids need us, and we need them to be good people.